welcome to the MRF Challenge 2017. I'm Louise Beckett.
And I'm David Addison, and this weekend in Chennai we've got 4 races and a champion to be crowned.
We certainly have. It's the final round of the season, and before we go any further, just look at this crowd. Let's see if I can get a wave and a cheer from them. Yay! They're very excited and looking forward to seeing what we've got to offer. And it is all about those final points and the championship here, isn't it?
Yeah, Felipe Drugovich, who did a few races in last year's championship, so he knows the circuit. He has been the dominant driver, and last time out in Abu Dhabi, 4 races, 4 wins, fastest lap in each of those races. Absolutely nailed it. Now, it's going to be fascinating to see how he tackles, certainly today, because he's got this huge lead in the championship. Does he go for more wins, or does he play it safe, keep out of trouble, and just bank the points, and perhaps tomorrow play the heroics game? Let's see.
Well, yes, I spoke to him yesterday, and that was exactly his thing. Is he the racer and go for the win, or does he hold back a little bit? But Presley is taking those points, shaving those points off him.
Yeah, he's 84 back, or he was. He's now 82 back because he took the 2 points for pole position out of qualifying yesterday. And it does seem like this Herculean task, but you never know. I mean, this is a track, it's difficult to overtake around. It's narrow, it's bumpy. It's one that the drivers don't really know. And all it would take is for Felipe Drugovich to have a bad first race and things look a bit less promising. The results of race 1 sort out your grid position for race 2. So let's say he starts that at the back. He's got another big task on his hands. We could go into tomorrow on that evidence with a completely different situation in the championship. Well,
just remember Harrison Newey last year. It was right down to the final moment. In fact, it was down to paperwork, wasn't it?
It was a tie-break, and on the number of wins. So you just never know.
Well, I'm going to go and take a walk down the grid and have a chat to a few people. You need to get off to the commentary booth.
I do.
So see you later. So while David does that, let's take a look at how they got into those grid positions with the qualifying highlights.
Qualifying in the MRF Challenge, always important. 2 vital points go to the driver who sets the fastest lap time, and of course his second best lap time determines your grid position for race 3. Julian Falqueiro was in strife early on, trying to wriggle his way through the traffic. Manuel Maldonado not being overly cooperative. Running wide out of turn 12, American Robert McGuinness, as the times started to be established. And Presley Martono was the man to beat as he got himself to the top of the times. He survived this big moment coming out of turn 8, regrouped, and went good enough at the end of the session to be fastest for both race 1 and race 3. Rinus van Kalthout was one of the drivers chasing hard. He would end up 3rd, and championship leader Felipe Drugovich 2nd fastest, as Martono continued to dominate the 30-minute qualifying session. He was fastest by 0.3 of a second. Others, though, found themselves in the wars, running wide, for example, out of turn 1, the Australian Harry Jones. Jones would end the session 9th. Van Kalthout had a last charge, though, and tried to drag himself up the order. 3rd, his ultimate reward. Martono, pole position for 2 races and 2 points in the championship. Presley Martono on pole position from Felipe Drugovich and Rinus van Kalthout. So the grid is formed for the first race of the weekend. It is going to be very important indeed as far as Presley Martono is concerned, to see if he can narrow this gap in the championship down to championship leader Felipe Drugovich. Let's hear, though, before we go racing, from some of the drivers. Louise is with Pavan Ravichanka.
I'm at 5th on the grid, number 28, Pavan Ravichanka. How has this been for you so far this weekend? What can you do in this race 1?
I think it's been quite positive so far. Quite happy with where we are, and I think keeping a clean race will be the most important thing for this weekend.
And I'm sure you're used to it with these temperatures, but we've got the umbrellas out. It is getting hotter out here. Is that going to affect you?
Yeah, I mean, it is very hot, and we've got a very long 20-lap race. So I think, I think it's going to be tough, but it's good.
Thanks very much. Well, David, back to you while I go find somebody else to speak to.
Thanks, Louise. Yes, Pavan Ravichanka, who's done quite a bit of racing in the UK, as well as in Asian Championships because he was part of the BRDC British F3 Championship the season past. That's the championship leader, though, Filipe Drugovic, who is going to line up second on the grid for this opening race. The 4 races over the weekend with the grids based, thus, best qualifying time for this. Race 2 today is the result of race 1 with the top 6 reversed. So 6th place gives you pole, winner will start 6th. Race 3 is your second best time, and race 4 is your fastest lap out of any of the 3 races. It's a 1-by-1 staggered grid, as you can see. Last minute adjustments for the setup on Filipe Drugovic's car. And a 20-lap race when we get going. All of these cars are the same. They're Dallara built. They have a Mountune 2-litre engine. They're slightly different from last year in as much as there's a reprofiled diffuser, but most significantly, a sequential gearbox now rather than the H pattern that was run last year. So this brings them more in line, perhaps, with what they may be used to in other single-seater championships. Let's go back down to the grid. Rinus van Kalmthout is now with Louise.
Rinus VK, you've got it all to play for. You need to get some points in this race, so what can you do?
Just gonna do, like always, just go for it, and we'll see what happens.
What are you expecting in that first corner?
I expect it's gonna be a little messy because it's a quick corner, but for me it's just one thing I want to get through, and then we will see how the race will end up.
Okay, so he's going to be a bit cautious potentially on that turn 1. Thank you very much, Rinus. We'll see how he gets on. Back to you, David.
A winner in Dubai, a winner in Bahrain. And just to clarify the point, if you want to do it the Dutch way, he's Rinus van Kalmthout. If you want to go with the American branding that his family are pushing towards, because he raced in American Formula 4 2000 last year, it's Rinus VK, which is a lot easier to say, it must be confessed. So you make your choice. Rinus VK then lining up 3rd on the grid, pole position on the outside, and you've got the long run down towards turn 1, which in practice, in qualifying, caught out many. There's a big runoff area, grassy, bumpy, but at least there's a runoff area. We'll see if they can all survive the rigours of the first few corners. Now, the championship leader is Filipe Drugovic. Let's hear from him before we go racing. Louise.
Championship leader indeed, and it will be slightly a case of keeping it careful on this first corner, will it?
Yeah, for sure. You can decide things, but yeah, just try to get the best start as possible, and then we see what comes.
Happy with the car? Everything going okay?
Yeah, just checking everything. Yeah, everything okay. Let's see if it's a few words on the race now.
Okay, well, there's a good crowd looking out for him and cheering him on, so thanks very much, Filipe. And let's finally get down to poleman. So, Presley, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good, feeling happy.
I don't know if you can hear Presley. I can't hear Presley, and he's obviously concentrating hard because this could be a lot of points for him to get. David, back to you.
He's a crucial race, as we said on the grid, because he's got to try and bank the points out of this. You get 25 for a win. You also get extra points for fastest lap of the race as well. So this needs to be a bank raid for him, doesn't it, to control this from the very front with the 2 points for the fastest lap. So the grid is being cleared. They'll get 1 warming up lap, not the start of the race, but a chance to get the warmth into the MRF tyres. Let's have a look at the circuit. 3.7 kilometres long, 12 corners named, and 20 laps. This race, the track temperature 28 degrees. It's only going to get hotter. There's a little bit of a breeze, but nothing that needs speaking of. And for the drivers, they say it's narrow, they say it's bumpy, and they've come from billiard table smooth circuits of Bahrain, of Dubai, and then Abu Dhabi. And here on MRF's home soil, the factory just down the road near Stripper Umbador, it is a very different sort of circuit indeed. Identical cars, they're run out of the same operation of JA Motorsport, the leading motorsport player in India. Presley Martono then on pole position, Filipe Drugovic in the red car, Rinus VK next, then Julian Falqueiro in the blue and red colours, the Frenchman. So the top 4 in the championship, admittedly a little jumbled. Top 4 on the grid. At the very back, it's the purple car of the Australian driver Kurt Hill. And so any moment, once the officials are happy, then the green flag will be waved and the cars will be released. As I say, not the start of the race, but this last opportunity to generate a bit of warmth into the tyres and indeed into the brakes as well. through turn 1, under the MRF arch. See the drag strip that goes straight on at the end of that straight, and effectively this is a double apex right, because you've got just a terribly tiny straight between turns 1 and 2. Get it wrong at turn 1, you're way out in the weeds, you're compromised all through this next section, turn 2, turn 3, which is the left-hander, and then you're on the power. The cars will then sprint their way up past the link road that joins the two circuits, up towards turn 4 at the end of that fast section. Presley Martono then is the man on pole position, Felipe Drugovich lining up second, Reiners van Kalthout third ahead of Julian Falqueiro, and then Pavan Ravichanka fifth from the Singaporean Daniel Frost. Seventh on the grid, French driver Louis Gachet, the son of Bertrand Gachet, the former Grand Prix racer, the Mans winner. Alex Karkazik, the pole, is 8th. Harry Jones 9th, the Australian, and Swede Henning Engqvist rounds out the top 10 on the grid. 11th is where you find Australian Dylan Young, a real mainstay of the MRF Challenge. Robert McGuinness, new to the series, he is 12th on the grid. Manuel Maldonado back for another year. Cousin of Grand Prix winner Pastor Maldonado is ahead of the Belgian teenager, Michelangelo Amendola. Then it is Nazim Azman, the Malaysian, from Perdana Putra Minang, the Indonesian. German rookie, Richard Wagner, is 17th, and Kurt Hill, who struggled a bit in qualifying yesterday, the Southeast Asia Formula 4 racer, he will be at the back of the grid 18th. Turns 8 and 9 you're looking at on this formation lap, and as they come out of turn 9 you'll see where the link road rejoins. It gives them a bit of tarmac there. Look, left of shot, just to run wide when they're at full race pace. Kink on the way down towards turn 10, that little right-hander. 10 is a right, then you've got the sequence of 11 and 12 up towards the timing line, and of course this time they will stop in the 1x1 formation. Felipe Drugovich then coming to this weekend on 260 points in the championship. This man, Presley Martono, 174, trying desperately to bring down that gap. In turn, he's only 9 up on Reiners van Kalthout, who ties with Julian Falqueiro on points, 165, and then 5th is Alex Karkazik, way back on 106. So there's a race to enjoy, there's the championship situation to factor into all of this as well. On MRF's home soil here at the Madras Motor Race track, we are good to go racing. The Madras Motorsports Club celebrating 66 years in motorsport, the organisers of the weekend's racing. 5-second board is displayed. The drivers now look towards the red lights. 5 will go on when the lights go out. We will go racing now. Who makes the best start? Martono gets the jump ahead of Drugovich. What about Van Kalthout on the outside line? He needs to try and dive across if he can. Is he going to go all the way around on the outside? Yes, he is, up into second place. Can he hold it as they get up towards turn 2? Let's see. To the inside line, Van Kalthout tries to go for the race lead against Martono. He's got second. Then straight away, Martono runs wide. He's in real jeopardy of losing the lead. Van Kalthout round the outside. Drugovich perhaps just sitting back waiting for it to end in tears. Van Kalthout leads the way. Then he's gone from 3rd on the grid to the lead of the race with some inspired moves. And Martono, that is the first blow of the weekend for him, because he's got to be winning this race in order to stand any chance of keeping championship hopes alive. And Drugovich is crawling all over the back of him as well now. Through turn 5 they come. Julian Falqueiro runs 4th in the blue and red car, and they sprint their way now through the kink at turn 6. Fast looping right-hander 6 and 7. And look at the way now that Reiners van Kalthout, Reiners VK, is getting away from the rest of them. He comes then down now towards turn 8, and the gap is growing all the time as Drugovich pulls out, has a look to try to find a way past this man. Presley Martono running in 2nd spot, and he can't find a way by. The grid order now very jumbled indeed, with Reiners van Kalthout, Reiners VK leading the pack and building the gap now, because Martono needs to stay ahead of Drugovich, and that is exactly what he's doing. But in so doing, he's losing touch with the race leader. Through turn 10 they come, that 1 of 20 over the brow. There's the leader, there's the gap. And so after all the hard work done in qualifying, 3 corners into the race, and it's a completely different kettle of fish, isn't it? Martono 2nd, and a big gap to the leader. 1.3 seconds the margin at the end of that one. So Reiners van Kalthout comes through, his father Marijn, a very successful racer as well, the Dutch driver who is a front runner in the Boss GP category, and his son then having been racing in America, and that's perhaps where they see the future, staying sharp with these winter races. He had a win in Bahrain, he had a win in Dubai, 2nd, his best result last time out in Abu Dhabi, and he's leading race 1 of 4 here and looking as though he's extending the margin. Martono, however, would be good here for the 18 points, and that'll be 3 off Drugovich, but He still needs more than that. Ideally, he needs to win this race and get fastest lap, and he needs as many cars as he can get between himself and his championship rival. The plan has gone out of the window here with Van Kalmthout leading the way. 4th is Falqueiro, 5th is Daniel Frost going well, 6th is Louis Gachot, 7th is Pavan Ravishankar, Harry Jones is 8th, Dylan Young is 9th, Henning Engqvist is 10th. So the battle pack really is for 2nd and 3rd, and come back to the point made pre-race. Does Drugovich here force the issue and try and go for points, or is he just going to be content to sit there? He knows even if he gives 3 points away in this race, he has still got this gargantuan gap in the championship. Through turn 10 then. Turns 11 and 12 bring them back to the pit straight. Falqueiro 4th, not quite on the tail here of Drugovich. And Felipe not really making a move, is he, against the car ahead in the hands of Presley Martono as they come then now up over the timing line. Van Kalmthout it is who leads the pack. The gap is going up all the while. It's now 1.8 seconds. Martono is 2nd, Falqueiro is 3rd, Frost runs 4th, Karkazik is 5th, 6th is Gachot, 7th is Ravishankar, in 8th place Harry Jones, in 9th place Dylan Young, 10th Henning Engqvist. A challenge made on the inside line there, but again Drugovich finds the door closed, and what this does now is bring Falqueiro back into the mix. So 2nd, 3rd and 4th, battle is well and truly joined now. Drugovich crawling all over the back of Martono, but Falqueiro right there. So Drugovich now is trying to attack and defend at the same time. Nose to tail they run for 2nd spot. Slightly confusingly, the timing screen has, for the time being, Falqueiro in 3rd place, but Drugovich most definitely is ahead of him as they run down towards turn 8. Falqueiro has a look to the inside and thinks better of it. You can overtake at turn 8. You do have to be bold and brave about it because it's a narrow circuit, this. You've got to be utterly committed to the move. We're on lap 3, and this is 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Van Kalmthout, by the way, not only leads the race, he's done the fastest lap thus far. Remember, he's 9 points back from Martono in the championship, so although we're focusing perhaps on who's going to be the champion, understandably, bear in mind as well that we could yet get a change for 2nd, and this man is going the right way about taking 2nd spot in that title race. Rinus Van Kalmthout through again, another fastest lap of the race. Martono runs 2nd, Drugovich goes through in 3rd, 4th it is Falqueiro, Daniel Frost is 5th, and now for reasons unknown, Martono has been missed by the timekeepers, so it might be a transponder issue that's affecting some of the cars here, but he's still hanging on to that 2nd place as they turn now up towards turn 4. Behind Julian Falqueiro doing the chasing, you've got Daniel Frost. But look, up in the distance, how far away now Rinus Van Kalmthout is. The gap, an amazing 3.9 seconds 1st to 3rd. It is less clear at the moment what the gap is between Martono because the timing system is having all sorts of gremlins in it. Martono has been put back into 2nd position. Ignore the graphic for a moment, but we can't yet give you the gap. As they come out of turn 7, however, Drugovich has shaken off Falqueiro. That much is true. So Falqueiro 4th, dropping away. Is he going to fall into the clutches of Daniel Frost, the Singaporean? Not yet. And again, Drugovich trying to work out whether it's worth forcing the issue here, worth pushing for that 2nd spot, or whether just lag back and take those points. So far, plan works, doesn't it? Sit there and take the points and keep out of trouble. He has tried, if the opportunity presents. Be a fool not to have a go, but he's not going to get himself in jeopardy. Van Kalmthout, though, goes over the timing line. The gap, let's see, as he comes by into turn 1, it's almost like half the length of the pit straight. 3.7 seconds over Martono. Drugovich running 3rd. Falqueiro 4th, Frost 5th. Having a quick look lower down, who, if anybody, is on the move. Not as yet do we have much shuffling of the order. Michelangelo Amendola just goes through shot. Way wide in the background, the German driver Richard Wagner getting a replay of cars going wide out of turn 12, and that was Alex Karkazik, the Pole, who was running wide and kicking up the dirt. There were quite a few drivers falling off the road yesterday across the practice and qualifying sessions. He was one who had a couple of spins, but so far drivers keeping largely out of trouble in this opening race. One driver who's fallen a long way back, who's just gone through, incidentally, is Louis Gachot. So he's on the lead lap, but I think he's had a moment somewhere. So Gachot has fallen back into 18th spot, having been on the 4th row of the grid, started 7th. Race leaders work lap 5 then as they come now down through turn 8. Reiners van Kalmthout leading by, remember, 3.7 seconds, and he's done the fastest lap of the race. So this helps him close that margin to this man, Martono, for 2nd spot in the title race. Drugovic, perhaps it's uncharitable to say just driving around and banking the points, but that's pretty much the game plan, it would seem. Keeping out of trouble, maintaining a decent pace. He's in the top 3, he'll get a decent haul. Although he will lose a few points, 3 to Martono ahead of him, doesn't matter hugely with such an advantage. Works his way then out of turn 1. In the background, Julian Falqueiro continues to drop away, but he's not yet fallen into the clutches of Daniel Frost. Drugovic closer, though, as they come out of turn 2. Is he having another go here? Let's see. They work their way through the S's up towards turn 4. Falqueiro falling away. 6th, you've got the blue car of Karkazik ahead of Ravichanka. And here, look, responding slightly is Presley Martono. Last lap, he was quicker, in fact, than Drugovic, so he was able to maintain the margin of 0.8 of a second, but this time Drugovic having a real push. Lap 6 we work now. Race order, Reiners VK, Reiners van Kalmthout ahead of Presley Martono, Felipe Drugovic in 3rd spot. There, Julian Falqueiro goes through, number 26, the French driver. Remember, all these cars run by one central operation. JA Motorsport, as Drugovic closes right up, down at turn 8, thinks about making a move, but by the time he closed under braking, it wasn't time to dive out. Down towards turn 10 they come now, with Martono glued to his mirrors, seeing what is going on around him, and Drugovic there hangs on to that 3rd spot, clear of Falqueiro, even though a couple of laps back the 3 had all concertinaed. So these two have stretched the margin once more. Julian Falqueiro then dropping back as they come into turn 12. The lead gap is up again, 4.2 seconds, utterly dominant at the moment after that great first lap. Is Reiners van Kalmthout getting away from the opposition as again Drugovic just tries to unsettle Martono a little bit up towards turn 2. The Indonesian driver keeps the Brazilian at bay though. 2nd and 3rd working their way now up towards turn 4. Julian Falqueiro still in 4th spot, and Louis Gachot still at the back trying desperately to play catch up. Maldonado dropping back a little bit as well, down in 13th place, despite the fact that he's raced here before, raced in the championship before. Drugovic did selected races as well, season past, and was, I think I'm right in saying, with a couple of 5th places as his best results out of last year's visit to the Madras Motor Race track. So 3rd would be his best finish around here, and all helping him edge closer towards the championship. Comes down now out of turn 9, dust kicked by Presley Martono as he ran a little bit wide, but it doesn't seem to compromise him much as he comes through turn 10 now. Around the back of the paddock, turn 11 takes you to the brow, and then down towards turn 12. Martono hangs on to that 2nd spot as Reiners van Kalmthout goes across the timing line, and the advantage that he has got now over Presley Martono starting lap 8 stays at 4.2 seconds, and in fact it has come down ever so slightly by 0.005 of a second. So Martono is pushing as hard as he can. He is lapping quicker than Van Kalmthout, but he's got a lot of work to do as dust settles from Manuel Maldonado running wide coming out of turn 12 now. Kurt Hill in the background closing a little bit on Nazim Asman. Race leaders work their way out of turn 5. And there you can see Presley Martono maintaining this modest gap over Felipe Drugovic. Martono then, who has certainly had a very impressive season in MRF Challenge with a win in Dubai and some very good consistent points finishes, such as, for example, a 2nd in Bahrain in the opening race, 2nd in the 2nd race, a 3rd in the last race. He had a 2nd place to go with his win in Dubai. And we have a replay of Louis Gachot, who'd fallen to the back of the pack anyway, pulling off and possibly into retirement. It's coming out of turn 2 into turn 3, so it looks as though Gachot is out. There is Drugovic then, chasing after Martono. Consistent he may have been, but he's not had enough wins, really, against the dominant Drugovic. That's the problem. And 15th in Abu Dhabi didn't help Martono's cause. The leader has gone by. Reiners van Kalmthout then with another lap in the book, 8 done. And the advantage now 4.6 seconds as he pulls away yet further. Nearly half a second quicker on that last lap. Very wide indeed goes Drugovic, all over the dirt. Keeps it in the right direction though and doesn't actually lose too much time, and he was fortunate as well in as much as he was so far clear of Falqueiro that he wasn't in jeopardy from the drivers behind either, but he has lost a bit of ground to Presley Martono. So Drugovic quick through turn 1, he finds the bump, the car just ever so slightly unsettled, runs wide over the curb and over the dirt. But that, in comparison to some drivers' dramas down at turn 1, is barely anything at all. It cost him, what, 3 lengths? Down the pit lane has just come Louis Gachot. So after his problems, the French driver down the pit lane, might be that Louise can go and investigate what's the trouble for the Frenchman, who was quick in qualifying but struggling in the race with these mechanical woes. Right, there's second, third and fourth. Falqueiro thrown a lifeline up to a point by Drugovic because that mistake does cost him time. So Felipe now being caught a little bit by Julian Franquero. Drugovic with 2 wins in Bahrain, 2 in Dubai and 4 last time out in Abu Dhabi, just the driver of the season. But now Julian Franquero is doing his level best to bring down that gap. He had a win in Bahrain in the opening weekend of the championship. Having jumped early leader Reiners van Kalmthout after a safety car period, so Falqueiro knows how to win in these cars. You see how dirty the pit straight is now with people running wide and bringing the rubbish onto the racing line. Everybody battles their way through down towards turn 1. So Julian Falqueiro accelerates now through turns 1 and 2. But the lead gap with Van Kalmthout doing another fastest lap of the race is now 5 seconds. So well clear is the Dutchman. It's his race to lose as we work lap 10 of 20. There through is Presley Martono. That gap's still widening, isn't it, between second and third? It was 10, so it's over a second. Largely a legacy of Drugovic's moment, but he's not really bringing down that gap significantly. So is he now completely settled on that third place? He's maintained the gap to Falqueiro. There he is in 4th place behind. In 5th spot coming through Daniel Frost, having one of his better runs, in fact. Daniel, the Singaporean driver who has been racing in the Formula Master Asia Series, was 3rd in that championship last year with a win. Falqueiro there goes through, but behind, look, the red and white car, Daniel Frost, closing all the time. He's raced in the Formula 4 Southeast Asia Championship. He's had a spell in Japanese Formula 3, a couple of races in the Dome chassis as well, he's raced in that. And now definitely he is chipping away, look, and closing on Falqueiro. Here they come through turn 12. The race leader, Reiners van Kalmthout's already gone through, and he's 5.5 seconds clear of anybody else. So a very impressive drive this, and again, makes you wonder, or makes you feel that if only he could have done it more often, he'd have been a bigger factor in the championship. But it's the inconsistency of some, coupled with the impressive results of Drugovic, that mean that we have this big gap in the championship coming into the last weekend. But for some, it's their last chance to prove themselves in this series before they concentrate on their main season of racing. This MRF Challenge doing exactly the right thing for the winter months, keeping drivers sharp, and with 2 Formula 1 circuits, an international Grade 1 track in Dubai, and MRF's home soil at what really is the cradle of motorsport in India, the Madras Motor Race track. It's a great calendar. Now we've had, rather quirkily, a fastest lap of the race by the man in 13th place. Robert McGuinness has done a 1:30.1 and is therefore the man with the points for the fastest lap to his name. Can Van Kalmthout do anything about that? Because just as we've been talking about Martono needing points to win the title, so Van Kalmthout needs points to secure second over Presley Martono. This man, though, Daniel Frost, lapped faster than Julian Falqueiro last time. Trouble is, the age-old problem in slicks and wing single-seaters, because you get close to the car ahead, you get in the dirty air, it compromises your handling and your speed, and you fall back. So what can Frost do about Falqueiro? The lead gap 5.5 seconds. It's come down fractionally that time, again by, what, 34 thousandths. Falqueiro chasing Drugovic, that gap is 1.5 seconds. Falqueiro to Frost is 8 tenths. Henning Engqvist goes through, kicking up the dirt. And there, in number 8, Michelangelo Amendola, the Belgian teenager who we saw having his car race debut in the Walter Hayes Trophy at Silverstone at the back end of last year. Car 9 is Robert McGuinness then, who's got the fastest lap, the American driver, another graduate of the Formula Ford 2000s category. He was the Rookie of the Year back in 2016, having come out of Formula Ford 1600. There he is, the American former indoor kart racer before going into the Rotax Junior Kart Series, and a very good track record in regional junior kart championships. Van Kalmthout in the meantime though dominating up front. Martono has shaken off Drugovic, that's pretty clear now. And there in 21 is Harry Jones, the Australian, clear of fellow countryman Dylan Young. Henning Engqvist in the background there, number 4, who has come out of initial radicals and then LMP3 sports cars. And the field currently working lap number 12. Second and third turn through the right-hander of turn 12, the last corner. Into turn 1 though goes the race leader. There, Rinus van Kalmthout, like almost everybody else on this grid, started in karts as an 8-year-old. He was a cadet 4-stroke title winner in 2009. Then he had the double success in 2010 of winning both the Dutch and the Benelux World Formula 4-stroke championships. He was the Dutch Rotax Minimax champion. He was the Junior Rotax Minimax champion. And then the car race debut came through the single-seater series, the monoplace category that the V2V organisation runs. And then he had his spell in America, in American Formula 4 2000, second with 3 wins in the championship in 2017. And very definitely, it is the States where Rinus VK, Rinus van Kalmthout, sees his future. He's very much focused on that. This championship allows him, as it allows everybody, to keep sharp in the winter months. Presley Martono then in second place, and off the road there, bouncing back towards the road, goes Richard Wagner, the German driver, and that was down at turn 1. So a big moment. He was way back anyway in 16th place, but that's not going to help matters at all for him. So as the car way wide all over the grass, probably just completely run out of road at the end of the pit straight. So a big moment that for Richard Wagner. Brings all the dirt and the grass back onto the road, and Presley Martono, amongst others, will encounter that next time through. So the race leaders go through. We saw Louis Gachot pit a few laps back. Louise, what news?
So that was the reason he pulled over. However, he jump-started the start, and he was supposed to come in for a drive-through. However, he didn't come in for that drive-through, got a black flag, so he's not going back out for the rest of the race.
Right, OK, thanks for that, Louise. So 2 problems for him, one the mechanical issue, but then for a alleged jump start, the drive-through penalty, we didn't see any boards, no messages on the timing screen about that, and clearly Louis Gachot didn't see the boards either. So having not served it within the requisite number of laps, the black flag means game over. So Louis Gachot out. He's not the first person, in fact, to have fallen foul of officialdom this year, because Alex Karkazik was excluded for ignoring a drive-through for a jump start in Dubai. So it's happened to others. There, though, championship leader Felipe Drugovic continues to dominate in terms of points, but as far as the race is concerned, Rinus van Kalmthout is on lap 14. He's done another fastest lap, incidentally, now, so the points have gone back to him. He's just crossed the timing line, but a 1:30.156, best lap of the weekend, in fact, of anybody. Not just in racing, but practice qualifying as well for Van Kalmthout. So Rinus VK leading now by 6.5 seconds in the Jumbo Supermarkets backed car, Fritz van Eert's company. And as he turns his way now up towards turn 4, all looking very impressive indeed. This for Van Kalmthout, not a wheel as he put wrong, and very, very good racecraft over the first couple of corners, sticking his nose in. A little bit of a drift there as he goes through turn 5, but nothing really to fear about there for him. And that, though, is rather more significant. What was I saying about not a wheel wrong? Big slide at turn 6. Don't drop it now, Rhinus, because this has been a very impressive drive thus far. He's still pushing, as you can see. It's worth pushing because he secured those points for the fastest lap, but that was all a bit leery for a moment. Drugovic hangs on to that 3rd spot. He's done a personal best lap, so he brought the gap down a little bit last time to Martono, but you wouldn't think it to look at it, would you? Because there is still a huge gap between them, but Louise might find out differently post-race. I still get the feeling that Drugovic will be content with that 3rd spot. As a very sideways Martono flicks the car out of turn 11. Interesting, isn't it now? Late race, drivers starting to be a little bit looser in the way the cars are driving. Now, is that because they're getting overly confident, or is it because the tyres are starting to lose their ultimate edge? Wasn't the curve getting him unsettled, was it? That's spectacular stuff, that, from Presley Martono. Right, out of nowhere, now Julian Falqueiro has done the fastest lap of the race, so he's pushing on. You see him in the background there. He's pushing on to try and close on Felipe Drugovic, and he's just lapped over a second faster. Why could that not have been done earlier, I wonder? But suddenly Julian Falqueiro has kind of woken up and brings down the gap to Drugovic. He's been close in the past, but not really able to make a move. Let's see whether things change this time around then. Presley Martono set for 2nd spot. And Van Kampthout has just lost, of course, those fastest lap points, so he needs to try and get another good lap in, and we've been seeing how hard he's been pushing, so it's certainly possible. There is Falqueiro turning his way now out of turn 8, and although he was closer to Drugovic last time, he has still got Daniel Frost behind him. If anything, Frost now closer than he has ever been. This could be why Falqueiro is pushing, because he's trying to shake off the challenge of the Singaporean driver behind him. There is Daniel Frost, who is possibly the man most likely here to gain a place before the very end of the race. They come up towards turn 12 over the brow. Race leaders go by. Van Kampthout doing a lap in the 130s. So he's still not able to get his fastest lap back. Falqueiro has certainly lost time on that lap, because from a 29 he's done a lap in the 132s, so he's falling away from Drugovic, but he's now very focused indeed on making sure he keeps Daniel Frost at bay. We are currently on lap 17, 4 to go. There is 88 then, so Daniel Frost sprinting his way up towards turn 4. Having had a good push on the last lap, he's now fallen away again from Falqueiro, so this elasticated gap between them now stretches in favour of Julian Falqueiro, who goes through. Daniel Frost pushes on in turn. He's about 5 seconds clear of Alex Karkazit down in 6th spot, so Daniel Frost should be good to maintain his 5th place. Turning his way then now down towards turns 8 and 9. Well, up front, it is all about Rinus Van Kampthout at the moment, as he continues to maintain this margin of 6.4 seconds. He's about to go across the timing line as well. As you look at Daniel Frost, 17 laps are done. And let's just see what the gap is. 6.2 seconds between the top 2. We've had a shuffle lower down as well, and it was Pavel Ravashanka, who's fallen a long way down the order, gaining 1 place back, bravely having to go on the outside of Perdana Putra-Minang. Didn't quite secure it. Tries again at turn 2. A big lock-up by Putra-Minang, but Ravashanka not quite able in the final analysis to get himself ahead. There's 8. That's the car of Michelangelo Amendola, who is the last of the point scorers at the moment. He's running in 10th place with the Brazilian colours draped across the car. He was in the wars yesterday, seemed to be off the road quite a lot, but he's had a calmer race. He says he's finding route to touch. So we're on to lap 18. Van Kampthout still is the man dominant up front, 6.2 seconds clear, but the fastest lap still claimed by Julian Falqueiro. Drugovic in third spot, 15 points beckon for him. Works his way out of turn 9 using all of the road, and he's getting away once more from Julian Falqueiro, despite the fact that with that blip of a lap almost, Falqueiro maintains the fastest lap of the race, but it was just that one lap that was the absolute standout. He's not been able to do it before or since. There's the leader, and Reiners van Kalthout looks as though he's going to be denied those fastest lap points, because although he is still pushing, and he's on the penultimate lap now, he's not bringing the lap times down. He is being caught as well, ever so slightly. Presley Martono last time was 5.9 seconds back. Much good with it doing, but the gap is coming down a little. And then in third spot, Felipe Drugovic. Now, they have both just done personal best laps, so they're still pushing right to the very end here. There's the race leader, and a very impressive drive this has been by Reiners van Kalthout, Rinus VK. As he comes through turn 7, approaching that straight down towards turns 8 and 9. Nobody around him, all the hard work done right at the very start. So having worked his way through into the lead of the race, then Rinus VK has just stamped his authority on this. He would still like that fastest lap though, and can his engineers from the pit get a message across to him to say keep on pushing, or he's just going to have to settle now for the lap times that he's capable of doing. He's only got one more of them to run as well, because this is the end of lap 19 as he comes then out of turn 12. Goes through onto the last lap of the race, and he has just done the fastest lap. So Reiners van Kalthout does a 1:30.070. Points for that will be crucial at the end of the weekend. Martono loses ground to him. The gap goes back up to over 6 seconds. Drugovic third, Falqueiro fourth, Frost fifth, Karkazik sixth, Harry Jones seventh. So this is the kind of annihilation that we saw from Drugovic in Abu Dhabi. A win and fastest lap. And don't forget that Rinus VK has had to do this by overtaking from third on the grid over the first couple of corners. He's not lucked into it. People haven't fallen off the road and given him this. It's all been on merit. I feel now, on this last lap, a little more strung out, but savour the style of the race winner, because Reiners van Kalthout has driven impeccably in this. He comes down towards turn 8. The checkered flag is being made ready for him as he comes then through turn 9. There, Presley Martono did all the hard work yesterday to get the points for pole, but wasn't able to hang on to the advantage against the inspired Flying Dutchman over the first couple of corners. And so, for the first race of 4 in this last weekend of the MRF Challenge season 2017-2018, it's going to be a win, seemingly, with one corner to go for Reiners van Kalthout. He comes through turn 12, the flag is at the ready, and so honours in the first race of the weekend here in Chennai go to Rinus VK as he comes across the timing line to win, and goes even quicker on the last lap into the 1:29s. A 1:29.967 underlines the pace. He wins by 6.4 seconds from Presley Martono. Championship leader Felipe Drugovic third, then fourth Julian Falqueiro, fifth Daniel Frost, Alex Karkazik sixth. Seventh will go the way of Harry Jones, ahead of Dylan Young, who should be next through. Indeed he is, coming out of turn 12 there in the black car, pursued in turn by Henning Enqvist. And the last point scorer is this man, Michelangelo Amendola, who goes through, the Belgian teenager, for 10th. Robert Magennis is 11th, Manuel Maldonado is 12th, and has just done the fastest lap. Maldonado takes fastest lap points with an outstanding, I was going to say an outstanding 1:28, and then the lap disappears. So there was a glitch in the timing. Panic not. Van Kalthout, your man has kept the points. Or has he? The timing screen is having second thoughts about this. It keeps oscillating between giving the fastest lap to Maldonado or to Reiners van Kalthout. I think it's settled on Rinus VK in the end. So there was a rogue lap from Maldonado. He's been given a lap time of a 28.250, but the fastest lap is shown as the 29.9 for Van Kalthout, which does suggest that Maldonado's lap is a rogue and will be investigated. So, let's concentrate on the easy bit. What a win for Rinus van Kalthout. Great overtaking over the first couple of corners, and once ahead, never stopped pushing, did he? In order to try and extend that advantage over everybody else. Presley Martono in the end, 6.498 seconds back in second place. He tried hard, but it was not to be. And Felipe Drugovich, after a few early jousts with the Indonesian, settling for the points for third place. Hopefully we'll hear from those three drivers shortly as they come down into the pit lane. Louise Beckett will be there to talk to the winners at the end of a very impressive drive by Rinus van Kalthout. Perhaps this year's showdown doesn't have the same drama going to a tiebreak of last year, but there's still an awful lot up for grabs. So the top six confirmed as Rinus van Kalthout, the winner from Presley Martono, Felipe Drugovich, the other podium finisher. Julian Falqueiro fourth, ahead of Daniel Frost, and it's Alex Karkazik, the Polish driver, in sixth. The rest of the field comes down the pit lane. Pavan Ravashankar having been 14th, Nazim Azman, the Malaysian, 15th, and there Kurt Hill was a lap down in the end. He was 17th behind Richard Wagner. So for Rinus van Kalthout then, a great start to the weekend, because that are required by the scrutineers. Head to the technical area. And the pit lane, quite a fascinating walk in a sense, because you find engineers from all sorts of random championships, and I think I recognise that face, and keeping sharp and getting some winter work, driver coaches as well. But there is the man of the moment, an excellent drive that by, as you see from the overalls and the American flags, Rinus VK. And an excellent job done. So crash helmet will come off in a moment. Drinks bottle not needed just yet. And the championship officials congratulate Rinus van Kalthout. Helmet off. We'll have a word. He'll go to the podium in due course to be joined by Presley Martono and Felipe Drugovich. So there, the race winner. All smiles is Rinus van Kalthout. But let's hear from the drivers. Felipe Drugovich third with Louise.
Yes, the team are just congratulating Felipe. How was that your plan? You've got the points. You've come in third. Are you happy with that?
Yeah, for sure I'm happy. Yeah, just didn't start as I wanted, but yeah, still really good. I think in the points I'm really good in the picture.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to go off and find P2 and come back to you, David, shortly.
Thanks, Louise. I'm intrigued by Felipe Drugovich's definition of happy, because he didn't look very happy, did he? He was rather more monosyllabic than we've seen him over the rest of the weekend. But third's third, could be worse, and he does maintain this good lead in the championship, not to quite the same level, but even so, it's a healthy advantage nonetheless. The man that was doing his best, though, to bring that gap down, Presley Martono, it seemed to go wrong at the start for him, Louise.
Presley Martono, it was all about that start of that race, wasn't it?
Yeah. I pretty much lost the race in the beginning, and I struggled in the first few laps, but it was a hard race, but I think the next race will be better, hopefully. Yeah.
You know how to tackle it now?
Yeah, I mean, towards the end, actually, I was pretty quick. I was getting, I was struggling a bit in the beginning because of the tires, but towards the end, it was actually really good, like good pace, but just he was too far ahead, so I couldn't catch him.
All right, thank you. And I'm going to go and find the winner of this race. Back to you, David, while I just search him out.
OK, thanks, Louise. Rinus van Kalthout, the man who will be on that top step of the podium, and the enthusiastic fans opposite the pit straight have witnessed a great drive. Van Kalthout, not only incidentally that fastest lap, but it's a new lap record. Last year, you might recall, we had two of the development cars, as they were, driven by Narain Kartikeyan and Toby Sowry, and Van Kalthout quicker than Toby Sowry's best lap of last year. Right, let's hear from the winner, Louise.
So, Rinus, on the flip side of Presley, it was all about the start for you on that race.
Yeah, as I already said, I wanted to go through. I took a little bit of risk, but, well, amazing first lap, and then I could extend my lead, so perfect race for me.
And not only that, fastest lap right at the end.
Yeah. So the car is good with strategy, tire pressures. So I'm quick on the beginning, but the tires are also quick on the end. So happy with that.
Okay, I'll let you go and celebrate. Congratulations.
Thank you.
A win, the fastest lap, a new lap record. It's been a great start to the weekend, hasn't it then, for Rinus van Kalmthout, Rinus VK, as his American brand would have it, and P1, no question, for car 20 of the Flying Dutchman. Right, the dominant drive from van Kalmthout, but let's have a look at the highlights of the opening race of the weekend. It was all key as the lights went out down to turn 1. A good start made by Martono. Van Kalmthout, though, swung around the outside to gain second place and then was able to nip past Martono and grab the race lead. Straight away, he stretched the advantage over Martono, who was busy defending from Drugovic. As Alex Karkazik ran wide coming out of turn 12. As Martono had to go defensive, so Van Kalmthout built up the advantage. Drugovic was close. In trouble, though, was Louis Gachot, the car cutting out. He'd already been deemed to have jumped the start. There was a Damocletian drive-through penalty. He didn't serve it, so in the end, he got a black flag. Wide at turn 1 went Drugovic, but he was able to recover from that. And behind him, Julian Falcaro closed briefly for a lap or two. He also, once he got into a rhythm, did the fastest lap, but soon lost that as others upped their pace. Van Kalmthout's advantage got greater and greater. 6.498 seconds at flagfall. As further back, Robert McGuinness was pushing hard, and so too was Richard Wagner, who ran out of road at turn 1. Martono sideways, still second, with Drugovic rather distant in his mirrors. Van Kalmthout, though, the man to beat. A race win in the opening race and the fastest lap as well. Well done, Rinus VK. So the drivers making their way to the podium, and the dignitaries from MRF are here. We have Arun Maman, the managing director of MRF, on hand, and the drivers called forward with Felipe Drugovic, the third-placed driver, first to the podium. Van Amersfoort Racing overalls from his outing with the team in the FIA Formula 3 European Championship last season. For second spot, Indonesian driver Presley Martono is brought forward, and a very frustrated Indonesian who says well done to Drugovic, but he knows that he's just given away the chance of narrowing that gap even greater in the championship. But this is the man with the biggest grin of anybody. Rinus van Kalmthout is the man for the top step of the podium. A very happy driver indeed, and a very impressive drive too, as he stands on the top step at the end of race 1 of 4 here in the MRF Challenge in Chennai. Arun Maman now is asked to step forward and hand over the trophies. Felipe Drugovic taking third place. Then the far end of the podium, Arun Maman gives the trophy to Presley Martono. And the top step, if you're in any doubt, let's go for the big grin. Rinus van Kalmthout gets the jumbo-sized trophy, and he might end up with a few more of those before the end of the weekend. We'll do some number crunching before race 2 and see what this does for the championship, and see now what Martono must do to, if he can, narrow the margin to the championship leader, and indeed looking ahead what Van Kalmthout has to do to get himself ahead and stay ahead of Presley Martono. Race 2 will be at 3:30 local time. It's just gone midday here. We'll set your watches, so we'll have the second stanza later on in the afternoon. But here at the Madras Motor Race track this weekend, we've got the Indian Touring Car Championship, we've got Superbikes, and also a Volkswagen media race for the one-make Amio cars. So the top 3 drivers make their way off the podium. Time to go and talk to the engineers, reflect on the opening race, and for Felipe Drugovic and Presley Martono, think forward as to what they can do in race 2 later on. Well done, Rinus van Kalmthout. Join us for the second race later on in the afternoon. For now, from Louise Beckett and David Addison, bye-bye.